Hi everyone. So everyone knows I'm a big fan of the PlayStation Vita. I'm a big fan of PlayStation handhelds in general. I love the PSP as well. So when rumors started swirling about a new PlayStation handheld, I was very excited. But when we learned it was the Portal and it was only for remote play, I became quite disappointed. I have bought it anyway, just because, well, I love PlayStation handhelds and also I do use remote play a lot. So I was very curious about how I would feel about this device. And it has kind of surprised me. It's not perfect, but I actually do think it's a very useful device for me and my lifestyle. So I've been a fan of remote play ever since the PSP and PS3 days. And so this has resulted in me playing my PS5 a lot more than I was before. And I guess that's really the point of it. This is a device for remote play. And for me, I tend to play most when I'm in bed. And so this has meant that I'm just playing my PS5 more when I'm in bed. I do use the Backbone. I have used it quite a lot. It's good, but I think one of the things I don't like about it is that it kind of takes away my phone. So I do prefer kind of having a separate device for remote play. So let me talk a little bit about the kind of positives and the things that are not so great about it as well. So firstly, the screen quality. It's not an OLED screen, but it is really good. The games look amazing on it. It's very bright, very sharp. Playing Spider-Man 2 on it, it just looks amazing. And the size of the screen, and look, I prefer smaller handhelds generally, but I got to admit, the size of a screen is really good. It's perfect, actually. So when it's kind of in your hands, when you're holding it and playing it up close, it just feels like a really great size and everything just looks amazing. Really sharp. Like every time I turn it on, I kind of almost get kind of impressed all over again, just seeing the quality of the graphics. In terms of the ergonomics, it is basically just a DualSense controller cut in half. But the thing is, the DualSense is really comfortable. It's a great controller, and this is really comfortable to hold. I'm sure a lot of you, like me, have experienced those times when you're playing on a PSP, and it does become quite uncomfortable sometimes holding a device like that, especially playing games like Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops on it. But, this is basically the same controller you would use for your PS5, just with a screen in the middle. And so it is very, very comfortable to hold. It does also have the haptic feedback that the DualSense has, so you can feel the kind of various vibrations. I personally turned it off. I'm not hugely, I don't really care a lot about the kind of vibrations and the haptics, and I kind of want to save the battery life of the controller of the Portal. So I tended to turn it off, but it is there, and so if you do like that kind of thing, that's a cool feature with it as well. In terms of the sound quality, it actually really surprised me. The speakers are really loud. So like I said, I tend to play most when I'm in bed, and my wife goes to sleep quite early, and so I'm there kind of playing while she's asleep. But it actually feels very loud. I'm kind of playing on like the lowest or one from lowest setting of the volume, because it just feels really loud, which is great. And I think ultimately the main positive here is that I am playing my PS5 a lot more. It's not that I used to ignore my PS5. I would play it, but then I would just feel there's less time available when I have to go sit in front of a screen, especially with teenage kids now who tend to go to bed quite late. So this means I've just got more opportunity. I can play it anywhere in the house. And so I am just playing my PS5 a lot more, which is really great. That is the point of this ultimately. In terms of negatives, so I have experienced some lag or some kind of drop in the graphic quality or frame rate. It's not a deal breaker. It's happened a couple times, but it seems to kind of correct itself after a little while. I think this does depend on your internet at home. And so I've probably got too many devices hooked up to my Wi-Fi, which is causing it. But generally, it did correct itself after a few seconds. But it was some issues. I think this will be the biggest consideration for people when they're buying it. Is your internet quality at home strong enough to handle this remote play? And I think you've got to be confident of that when you buy it, because if your internet isn't great at home, then this is kind of going to be useless, because literally you can't use it for anything else but remote play. There's no Bluetooth, which is crazy. So you can't connect a Bluetooth headphone to it. You can buy the overpriced Sony earphones, but you can't actually use regular Bluetooth headphones or earphones. So this is very disappointing, but it should really be standard at this point. So I don't really understand that decision other than just to kind of rip people off and make them spend more money. And I think kind of the biggest negative for me is portability. Look, it's massive. It is really, really, really big. It's like the Steam Deck size, basically. And for me, the Steam Deck was too big to take on the go, and so is the Portal. And really, the Portal, in terms of its shape and everything as well, because you've got the kind of controllers sticking out the side, it just feels very unportable. It's a handheld you will use at home, which I think for me right now, it seems to be working. I do seem to be enjoying using it. But I think that's something to remember for a lot of people, that it's not something you're going to stick in your suitcase and probably take on holiday. I'd be kind of worried about damaging the screen or the controllers on the side. So I think it really is a device more for the home. Now, having said that, I did test it on my hotspot on my phone, and it does work outside the house if you want to be taking it around. But for me, it doesn't feel like a device I would be or would want to be taking outside the house. So in conclusion, the PlayStation Portable does have its flaws. It's not the device I would want it to be. I would much rather Sony have released a proper handheld. But ultimately, I am using my PS5 more because of it, and it does feel like a really convenient way to keep gaming on my PS5 while not in front of a TV screen. And so I am really enjoying it, which I'm kind of surprised about because I was quite negative, or I felt quite negative about it before it arrived. There have been rumors that the PlayStation Portal will eventually enable cloud support so that you could play PS5 games on the cloud rather than just remote playing from a console. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think we can't really assume it'll happen. If it does, that'll be great, because then it does become a device more that you can take around with you, because you can just connect to the cloud and play games anywhere. But for now, just as a remote play device, for me, it's good. For me, I'm actually enjoying it. It is getting a lot of use. I think you really do need to determine if that's something that would appeal to you as well, if it's something you think you'll be using a lot. Because if you're someone that sits in front of the TV screen anyway and that's your preferred way to play, then maybe this device doesn't really make sense for you, and that's fine. You know, it feels like a very niche device that they're selling here, not something for all PS5 owners. But if you use PlayStation Remote Play a lot and you enjoy it, then this probably is a really convenient way to do that without sacrificing your phone screen as well, and while having a really big and nice quality screen to play on with really great controls. So guys, let me know your thoughts on the PlayStation Portal. Did you buy it? What do you think of it? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.